So this is a video where I'm going to try to make something like this. So sort of a braided cord and then a loop at the end where you stick to things with knots in them and that'll stop it from coming apart. Okay, so here's how you start. So I'm going to start with a green piece of fabric here, and I've tied 2 knots to it. And so these are just the loop knot where you throw a loop and you pull it through. And so I'm putting them about, let's say it's 1 inch apart. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to make the braided cord. And so that requires me to put this, overlap it here, and then take one of the yellows and put it over here. And so what I'm going to try to do is make 3 parallel sets of fabric here. Okay, so, and I'm going to weave them together. And so this orange one's going to go under that one, but over that one. Okay, and so just by the nature here, you get 3 parallel ones. The green one's crossed over, and then the other 2 are just ready to go. And so it's a cord, which means it's kind of like a big long pipe. And so what happens here is that I'm going to instead of braiding, I'm going to kind of do the braid, but this time I'm going to bring it this thing over top, over that one, and under this one, and over that one. It's a little bit tricky to start it, but by doing that I end up with back to having 3 parallel pieces on that side, and then that one comes back, and then you just sort of alternate. And so this yellow one comes to the other side and braids through, and so it comes around, over top, and then under, and then over. Okay, and then I'm alternating again. I can pull it in a little bit tighter here. And so bring that green one back, over top, and under. Okay, the tighter the weave, the better it's going to be. So I'll try to bring those things in. And then going back the other way, this one drops back behind, around the yellow, and then like so. Now I'm sure people do this a slightly different way than I'm doing it, but now bring this yellow around the back to the front. So it's always this over-under sort of thing. And I will just continue. And now this orange, this orange comes around back over this orange, and make sure you flip it around. And then sometimes you have to sort of pull it through, and then over, under, over. Okay, so now let's say we've done enough. We've got the last grid in place where they all cancel, and so we've got a fair amount. And so it started here, and Now, to end it off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two back ones, so I'll hold these other two in my hand, and I'm just going to grab them and then tie them in a knot. Okay? So just I'm going to bring that guy through like this. Okay, so we want it tight to the rest of it, okay? Okay, so that one's tight. Then I'm going to sort of uncross these two and then tie those together. Okay? And so essentially, I guess I'm just going to pull the yellow one through and stick it in there. Also, this one's going to be tight. And then the last two are these two in front, which I'm going to tie together. So those two together, and then these two together. And now what I'm going to do, so I've tied each of the ends once, but now what I'd like to do is get a little bit more strength, and then I want to tie them to the neighbors. So another time. Here, and then these two here. And finally these two here. And so that means that all our braiding shouldn't come out now. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one from each set. Okay. And about an inch out, I'm going to tie a big knot like so. About an inch. I'm going to make it pretty tight. Okay, so we got the knot there. And then with the other ones, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Get them all lined up and then just wrap them around and stick them through. And let's just make sure they're at the same level-ish. So there we go, nice and tight. So now we have two. We'll tie them again. And then I'm just going to cut off the ends, the excess here. A little bit of, oops, a little bit, just a little bit. Same here. And then, so I end up with that, with the end here. And so what you do is you wrap it around your wrist, like so, if I can, with one hand. Yikes. This might be tricky. Okay, and so you pull. What you're going to do is you're going to push this knot through the hole, one of them, and then you're going to get the other one and do the same. Now, with the two knots there, it's unlikely to come undone, and so there is your bracelet.